Hey, it's 11:40 The Bet Las Vegas, and it's time to talk some wrestling, and rightfully so. Big wrestling weekend here in Las Vegas. Impact Wrestling will be here. Sin City Showdown going down at Sam's Town Live Friday and Saturday. Be sure to get your tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. Joining us is Heath. And as we start, number one, thank you for the time. And I got to ask you this question because I feel like nobody in the wrestling industry is more prepared for this question because you're the undisputed, you're the father of wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yeah.
profound, one of the best dads in the business. So I got my 4-year-old son. His picture's right up here.
Beautiful.
He hasn't been to a wrestling event.
No.
The past 9 months, he's very impressionable. Past 9 months, slowly but surely, little YouTube clips, a little live programming every Monday and Wednesday. We try to give him a little bit. But my main question is this the time to bring him to a wrestling event this weekend?
100%.
We're doing?
That's a fact. You have to. It's a must. Like, come on, man. We got 2 days of tapings. That's like, 4 shows. You got to bring to both of them.
I think we might have to do that.
Yeah, let him get that feel. Let him see it live. Let him, that's when they get hooked. They can watch it on TV and everything, just like I did when I was 5 and 6 years old. I watched it. Next thing you knew, my grandfather took me to the events, and I'm just like, oh, whoa, these guys are monsters. They are doing this is crazy, So it's like, yeah, man, you definitely need to take your little boy.
See, because he loves Marvel, but he's going to see the superheroes in person if he goes. So.
Yeah. Hey, man, tell him we all love Marvel, too. Trey Miguel's legit Spider-Man.
We're not going to tell mom, and we'll sneak. We'll be there Friday and Saturday. We'll make it happen. Speaking of that, though, with your kids, like, do you think now at the age that they're at, do they have a full understanding of what dad does?
I don't know, man. I really don't. Be on all honesty, whenever they were probably from, my girls are 10 and 8. So like the first like 5 years that they were alive, like about 4 or 5 years, I kept them away. I kept them away from it. I didn't let them watch it. I didn't let them see it.
Same with me.
Yeah, they didn't really know that what daddy did unless they actually would come to an event that was like close to my home, or I always took them to Manias, just because it's like a week of just fun in a new city, so now that they're 10 and 8, they're getting more interested in it. Like, damn, dad, you're doing this, you're doing that. Why are you falling through tables? Why are you getting hit with chairs? Like, they're
the bruises. They're like, where'd you get that from?
Exactly. So like I brought them around at a young age, but I never let them watch at a young age. But now that they're getting older and they're interested in stuff, I'm letting them see a little more. And then again, like I'm 39. So my rank in wrestling, I probably got another good 8 years, if that, you know what I mean? So around 46-ish, I might want to tie it up. But like now I'm letting them, like they're old enough, they understand it. I let them in on it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because before they would see daddy get beat up and they would cry, and I'd be like, oh no, I'm okay. Look, we're talking here. We're friends. It's all right. But you look like you were hurt. I'm like, oh, here we go.
No,
so I had to explain to them and everything.
No, that's amazing. And look, I don't know what your sport allegiances are if you're too deep into football, but there's an argument that we're having on the show for like, it's been a running argument for a week. And I think I can kind of put it into wrestling terms. But first, look, there's a tight end on the Dolphins who's really good. Last year he made the Pro Bowl. Mike Gesicki, who's catching touchdowns. He's a wide receiver in the tight end's body. They got a new coach this year, completely different philosophy. They run the ball a lot. This year he's barely been on the field because he doesn't block. So the argument is, because he's been in the league for 6 or 7 years, is on one side people are saying you already know what he is. He's been in the league for this long. He can't change. On the flip side, and my side that I think is like, that's not necessarily true. Like as a coach, that's on you to try to help and try to teach him, because as a coach, you don't just, a perfect example. I was terrible in school. I was a really bad kid in middle school. My dad's a teacher. He once had a conversation with my math teacher, and she was explaining how bad I was. And he stops her and goes, look, we get paid to teach good kids and bad kids. So my question, and flipping it into wrestling terms, like, is there a point in someone's career where they've been doing it for so long that they can't change, or they can't become versatile or learn something more?
All right. So I look at it this way. Say that he had, the first coach from the Dolphins saw that potential in him as a wide receiver tight end. This new coach don't see that potential anymore and probably not giving him the chance to show it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you all know it's there. You know he has potential. You know he's good. But this other coach don't see it, so he ain't playing it. Just the same thing in wrestling. It's like 3 agents can look at you and say, my goodness, this kid's the next thing. Like, he's great. He looks good. He can talk good. He can work good. But then Vince McMahon might look at you and say, I don't see it. So it's like one of those things. Yeah. But do I feel like you can change from who you were to who you are? 100%. That's a fact, just because I've done it. I mean, in wrestling, I was a rookie, a rebel, a watered down rebel with the group Core. Then I was a one-man band. Then I was in a group of rock stars, and then I became a social outcast into a guy that lived at a trailer park with 20-some kids, So it's like, I've done all these little loops and everything just because it was like what they saw. And then now in Impact, now I'm like the redhead rebel, and I'm losing, my crap everywhere and beating up Honor No More and all of this stuff and everything until my buddy Rhino, would come back. So it's like, I played all these different slots and all like the range of your character, but do I feel like someone can get caught into something? Yes. And never change? Yes. But it's either because it's working or they're not creative enough to change. That's my view on it.
No, thank you. I'm going to just say that you agreed with me. All right. And we'll take it.
No, don't get me wrong. Yes. I feel like, yes, there's always able to change. I mean, and if you don't learn from it, then you're going to just stay stagnant and stale.
And speaking of learning, we talked a little bit before this interview started. And before we get into everything going on with Impact, I want to turn the clock back to the FCW era. Excuse me. I was at Tampa, a student at HCC Del Mabry campus, shout out, which was a couple miles away from FCW headquarters, if you want to call it headquarters. Right. And I'm super thankful for the documentary that WWE made. But I have to ask you, when you think about your time down there, what was the most important thing that you learned?
Brother, just to be myself and open up. I was always trying to play somebody, this and that. Then I found like a little niche of, all right, they want me to be a bad guy. I want to be a flamboyant bad guy, but more so of a rock and roll rough around the edges, like bad guy instead of like the Nature Boy Ric Flair pretty boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mixed like Edge, Shawn, Flair, Sting, like all these guys into one, and then came out with this handsome Heath Miller, like this guy right here, up there.
Yes, there it is.
You remember him, right? And then over here is when I like first confronted with Edge, and that's in the arena.
It's amazing. TBT vibes.
Yeah, exactly. So like I had the best time down there. I learned the most there, and all of it's thanks to Dr. Tom Pritchard, man. Like if it wasn't for Dr. Tom putting his like little seasoning on everyone that came through there, even the guys that's up there now that you're watching still, they all had some, like, not the newer guys, but like the guys that are still like the Nemitzes and the New Day and like everyone
the
like
veterans
that.
Now.
Yeah. They all had that seasoning of Dr. Tom, man, and it was just like he knew, like he could just look at you and know if you were good. Like that was just wild, But now it's like, once you've been in the business so long, you learn that craft also. You can watch a dude and see his footing and see his spacing and see his ring awareness and know if he's good or not, But Dr. Tom, man, it was all him. He opened all of us up and said, come on, man, let me see what you got, So
no, it was amazing.
It was a blast, bro. I had so much fun at FCW.
I'm so thankful.
I was in my 20s and I was single in Tampa. So it was like, let's go.
Shout out to the Kennedy. If you know, you know.
I
know. Since you do have the Nexus, the end right behind you, I do have to ask you, what was your favorite memory? Obviously, headlining SummerSlam, your guys' debut where you beat the hell out of John Cena. I almost said another word that we're not allowed to say on the radio. But for you, what was the funnest part about it? Because I mean, it's a group of you guys. I can imagine being on the road and just taking the world by storm because everyone was like, what the hell is this? What was the favorite memory?
I mean, like with Nexus, you know, the opening scene in Miami, you know, when we went down there and destroyed everything, was that, holy crap, what the hell's happening here? Like, what is going on?
Unheard of, honestly.
I mean, like the fans were crying, throwing stuff at us. Like we were walking by and they're like hitting us, you know, to where I'm like, geez, these people really hate us right now. But it just took everyone by surprise, like stuff you don't really see that much of anymore. Like you see it here and there, but it's like, that was one of those things that no one saw that coming.
It's memorable. It's history.
You know? Oh, it was great. I mean, it's been 12, nearly 13 years since it's happened, and it still comes up every year on my timelines and everything on social media. Hey, 13 years ago, Nexus invaded and everything. And then in my mind, I think, how in the hell could they never bring it back? You know, people still remember that and talk about it years later. I'm like, my goodness, sign all the guys for a year, let us explode and have some fun, and then let us go again or something. Who cares? But no, Nexus, the ground opening day was great. SummerSlam was amazing, main event and everything. I mean, getting in the ring with Bret Hart was fantastic. But SummerSlam should have went differently, I feel, and then they should have conquered us at Mania, because like, we never had, we had WWE by the throat, but they never let us clinch it. You know what I mean? They never let it be like, holy crap, these guys are legit taking over. Like we were there. I mean, we had it, but then
everybody Superman had the t-shirts. I had the t-shirts.
Yeah, Superman had to go in there and change everything. So that's why we were winning though. We were definitely winning. Like we got there and it said we were up. You know, me, Gabriel, and Wade was the last three in the ring. And then Nexus was supposed to come down. We all have a beauty shop. And then next thing I know, an hour before the pay-per-view starts, it all goes to crap. And we're all like, whoa, what? Huh? Hold on. What's happening now? And switch it all. But that was a great moment. But I'm telling you what, the best moment for me through Nexus was what a lot of people didn't see, was Madison Square Garden, us wrestling Bret Hart, TJ Wilson, and Harry Smith. You know, me in Germany traveling with Gabriel, but we were working with Bret Hart, you know, like Bret, I was married to Bret in 2010 and early 11 because, I don't know, he just trusted me and it was awesome, you know. I mean, getting a little stamp of approval by the best there is, was, and ever will be, you know, so it's pretty nice. But like, me and Bret would like just go and lock up and he would just have fun. And there was stuff that he was not supposed to do that he was doing, to where I'm like, oh God, don't get in trouble, you know. But it's Bret Hart, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to go with it and make sure everything's safe and good. But those were the fun times for me, is literally working one of my favorites and him being so damn cool.
It's super, super, super dope that you say all that. And before we get into Impact, I do have to ask you, when it comes to all that, and hold on, let me make sure I got my notes correctly. When it comes to everyone in Nexus, and like you're saying, it's been 12, 13 years, how frequently do you keep in touch with everyone from the original core?
We still got a group text. I swear to God, we do. Every one of us is in. Yeah. I hear from Ryback, Wade, and Gabriel the most. Darren Young, of course, too, because he's my brother. I don't hear from Tarver that much, or DB, because they're all like, you know, Tarver's doing rap, DB's with AEW and everything. But no, man, like Wade and Justin Gabriel, they were in my wedding, bro. Like they're legit buddies of mine, you know. Yeah. So it's like, but no, I literally wrestled Gabriel 2 weeks ago for FWF with the major pod and everything. So me and him had a hell of a fun, cool match, you know. So nah, man, we all don't get me wrong, we're all still buddies. No, Ryback's a little insane, but we're all still buddies.
Just a little bit. At least you guys,
him though, man.
Yeah, at least you guys got the chat to tell him to chill. Man.
Yeah, he'll always be one of my brothers, though, man.
Let's get to Impact right now. Sin City Showdown this weekend, Friday, Saturday. You got 2 days of wrestling awesomeness. Go get your tickets right now at Ticketmaster.com. And I asked you earlier about learning and adapting and everything, and you kind of hinted at it at the beginning. How has the transition been from you being a quote-unquote comedic wrestler into the more serious role and everything that you're doing with Impact right now?
And I love it. I really do. I love the fact that Impact will listen to you, allow you to do what you're comfortable with, what you think the people would respond and like and get over with. So the good thing about Impact is that they literally just listen to you and say, hey man, what do you think? What do you feel? What would you say? What would you do? And I'm just sitting there like, I told them, I said, man, I just kind of want to just be myself and go off on what I always thought I could and want to be. And they're just like, well, what's that? And I'm just like, a loose damn cannon that just don't give a damn. And he just was like, well, what? I said, because like, I never got to do it, and this was like right whenever Rhino got hurt. And they were like coming to me like, hey, you got any ideas? I said, yeah, I do. I said, and this is where I'm at. I said, this is what's going on. This is what happened. And then the whole thing with Honor No More and all that. So it's like, I want to be funny because I feel like I'm a funny dude and I like to crack up. I like to have a good time. But then again, don't take my kindness for a weakness, because I will bust your ass. Because one, it's like, you might beat me up. You might. I mean, hell, it's one of those things that like, I won't back down from a fight. But then again, even if you whoop my ass, I guarantee you when you wake up the next morning, you're going to feel every blow that I threw on you. So we're both going to lose here. So that's the way I want to portray it, to where like, hey, man, we can have fun. We can have a good time and everything. But if you cross me, we're going to have some problems, and they're letting me do it, So it's like I'm having fun being me turned up to like 11. So it's fun to me. Like I'm having fun again.
When the first chances that you've gotten to do this and really like you touched on it, this is something that you've never been able to do in your career. Like
No.
those first moments of getting to try it and going out there with that energy, like were you nervous? Were you relieved? Were you just like, finally, this is what I wanted to do?
It was all of that, man, because it was one of those things like I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if the people was going to believe it, because I mean, think about it. A lot of these damn, I don't want to, I mean, yeah, I ain't going to say that. A lot of these fans out here know that this is a live action movie that you're watching, that we get scripts for, that we have to play. And then they believe in their head that you are that one-man band, that you are this comedic guy that always gets his butt kicked. It's like that, the fairy tale world. But in our reality, like if you want to come up and disrespect me and say some of that stuff, I mean, look what Mike Tyson just did on the airplane. He popped the dude's ass because he's being disrespectful. And a lot of kids today love to get on a little, Twitter and Instagram and talk that junk. But then once you comment back saying, hey man, say that to my face, I'll be in this city next week. They don't say nothing. Oh, he's threatening me. He's doing this. It's like, no, asshole, look what you just put. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where like, say sometimes you need to get smacked in the face with some reality. But people honestly believe that you're that character when in our reality, you're not. It's like, I don't know. People just get caught up in it sometimes.
Yeah, no, 100%. And another thing I want to ask you too, because even in other sports too, I think that's something that doesn't get brought up is, you were out for almost a year, or for a year exactly, dealing with abdominal injuries and surgeries and the rehab and everything. For you, do you now, looking back at it, and I know that a lot of it is not just the physical pain and everything, but it's a lot of mental and being on the sidelines and being like, I wish I was there. Do you feel like you're better for it, as in you're better for it because you went through this and you learned from that, now looking back at everything that you went through?
Exactly what you just said. I'm way better for it now, just because, brother, it is a mental shakeup, bro. And I think that was my problem even coming back, because when I first came back at the next year at Bound for Glory, when I wrestled VBD alone and then Rhino came and helped me, I could still see myself bumping and falling and everything. But then you see me like grabbing my groin area, my stomach to make sure everything's like intact, like it's all mental, and my physical therapist, she's wonderful. She's an angel. Her name's Courtney Powell. She nursed me back to health, man. She put Humpty Dumpty back together, and she was telling me, hey, like, go and do it. You're good. Like, go, like, you're okay. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, man. I just took a back bump and it ruined me. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm all scared. Like, and it's all here. And I already went through the therapy, went through all the beatings, went through everything to get me back in shape. And I was so nervous, bro. I mean, like
Well, I mean,
trying
because
to
you don't want to go
deep
through that
breath.
again.
Dude, I know, like trying to get a deep breath, but it's not coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh God, I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna die. What's gonna happen? You know, it's like it messes with you. And literally, it took me, brother, at least 6 to 8 months to where I would bump and be like, all right, I'm good. Let's get up. Let's go. You know, it was all mental, man. Like physically, I was okay. I was good. I looked great. I was in shape. I was good. But in my mind, I was going to break every time I fell.
And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the times we get into these arguments with athletes and we expect they're going to come back even bigger and better than before with their injuries. And sometimes it does happen, and science is better than it's ever been. But like,
Yes.
there is such a huge mental part of
all
of that and performing. And I'm glad you said that now that you've worked through it. And to kind of go back to you joining Impact and being a veteran now and being here for a little bit, and getting your feet wet. Just and you brought up how they listen to you and everything, but just like as a company and your experience in other places, how do you like Impact Wrestling just in general from everyone that works there?
Brother, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a breath of fresh air. Why? Is because like now in my, you know, like I tell everyone, like I'm in my prime, but I'm on this side of the mountain of my prime. Like I'm not.
Hey, Brady extended it, baby. 45 is your prime now. Let's go.
Like in my mind, like I feel great. I look better than I ever have in the wrestling world, just because I have time home. I have a physical therapist. I have people that will help me like choose foods to eat, you know, but I love food. And I told them, I said, I do not care about being ripped. Like, I don't need a six pack. I've never had a six pack.
But hold on a second, because and I know the meme's iconic where they went from I got kids to hey, I'm daddy now. Did that intentionally happen? Like, is that what you had in your mind, or it was just I just go to the gym anyway and I just started bulking up? Like, was that intentional for you to look the way you look now, which is spectacular?
It was literally one of those things where I was talking a lot with Drew McIntyre, and he get in my head. He always gets in my head. He's like, hey, man, I was off for 3-4 years, and then I came back. He was like, you just got to come back stronger than ever. Look better, look this, look that. In my mind, I'm like, I just want to do that anyway. You know what I mean? I want to live healthier. I want, like, because, like, you're getting up there now a little bit in this wrestling world, man. You know, so it's like, in my mind, I was like, I want to eat better. I want to look better. I just want to live the best life I can, not just for wrestling, but for my babies, you know, for my kids. So with all of that and everything, like, with Impact being, you know, every other week, and then the other weeks I'm home, or I can book in a show, you know, on the weekends, or a convention on the weekend, like all of the stuff. It's like, I feel like with them, I'm having my cake and eating it too, you know, just because I'm being daddy at home and being, you know, at home a lot. But then again, I'm still making money and working and having fun with Impact, to where it's just, in my mind, it's a win-win all around. And I feel like I needed this. I didn't want it or anything, but I feel like I needed it, you know? And that whole group there, like with D'Amore and, you know, Tommy Dreamer, Lance Storm, and all those guys backstage, and like just the group of people that are there are just so encouraging, and a team playing group, to where it's just one of those things where, like, if you have everyone working together and they're all trying to do the best, the product's going to be good.
And speaking of that, before we get out of here, 2 questions. This is going to be the sound clip that we're going to put in our news updates. For those of you in Las Vegas who have not been to Impact Wrestling, I need the pitch on why this weekend they should be on Friday and Saturday at Sam's Towns Live to check out Impact Wrestling.
Man, you are putting me on the spot, but the only thing I can say is, oh, baby, you better get your butt to Sam's Town Live to watch Impact Friday and Saturday. It's going to be the best entertainment in Vegas for 2 days, better than anything you're going to see in Las Vegas. So Sam's Town Friday, Saturday, let's go, baby.
Yeah, David Blaine, we don't need to go see his shows. It's Impact Wrestling, Sin City Showdown. And final question, and Heath, thank you so much for the time and all the gems and everything. This has been great. I need and I know this question, this answer probably changes every 30 seconds just because of the nature of the question, but I want your Mount Rushmore. all time best wrestlers ever for you?
I don't know if I can answer that. I really don't know.
Give me something.
Know. But I'm just saying that's like it's so much, you know.
I've heard you like Sting a lot. Is he on there?
Sting is definitely the first one on my list. Sting will be there. But then it's like, I mean, like I look at it like Sting, Brett, Shawn, Flair, Taker, Rock, Stone Cold. Like you need like more. You know what I mean? Hulk Hogan, Warrior, like those guys, like we're like, whoa. You know, it's like
the 27 Yankees. It's the whole roster. It's not just 4.
It's a fact. Like you honestly, like with me, like I would even put Great Muta on there just because I thought he was amazing. Like, there ain't no tag teams on there. Steiner Brothers was great. Road Warriors were great. You know, like it's like Demolition was one of my favorites. Love their music. So it's like there's so many like good names that I could like put on there, but I just don't want to disrespect no one. So I'm gonna have like, you know, there's my Mount Rushmore.
There it is. It's a huge Mount Rushmore. Look, Sin City Showdown this weekend. I'm gonna say it one more time. This Friday, this Saturday. Go get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Impact Wrestling will be here soon enough. Heath, thank you so much for the time. This was awesome.
Man, thanks for having me, man. It was fun.